to yet another episode of season 2 of the Growth Invitation. And as you know, in this season, I am committed to bringing on powerful females from all around the world to share their stories of challenges and growth as an invitation and an inspiration to you all so that you know, no matter where you are, what you've been experiencing, where your starting point is, and what you're going through right now, you can always choose to grow and manifest your dream future. And today I am super happy and excited because I have my CTTP classmate, Meredith, here with me. Hi, Meredith.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to have you on. And, today we are going to be talking about something that is actually really prevalent in the everyday world nowadays. Talk about burnout. That's not just women, actually. A lot of men experience it as well. And if anything, the ages of people experiencing burnout are kind of seems to be getting younger and younger and younger, which is actually a really sad thing. And I think it's something that, we really should be addressing. And that's what we're going to be talking a lot about in this episode. And also talking about energy and the cost of being misaligned. And that might not make a lot of sense to everyone, but we will definitely explain it all. So don't worry. We're going to talk about this. But before we get started, Meredith, would you mind giving my audience a quick introduction to who you are?
Yeah, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Meredith Ruben Daniels. I am a former teacher. I'm an energy healer. I'm a best-selling author and speaker, and I help. My purpose in this world is to help people find peace within themselves so that we can bring peace to the world.
Oh, I love that. I love that. And now you know why I had to bring Meredith along because when we're talking about such an important topic. So I mean, as I mentioned before, burnout is something that is such a big topic right now. It's affecting a lot of people, and people seem to have less and less energy these days.
Yes.
Maybe it's, I mean, there's a lot of things that have play a factor in all of this and make in causing this. But of course, I think being misaligned, and we'll talk about it later, is probably one of the biggest things from an energetics perspective that people might not be able to really see because it's not so tangible. So
Mhm.
I would love to for you to share your story, to start off with, to see, what was it that you experienced, your husband experienced, and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, absolutely. So my husband Kevin is a phenomenal high school math teacher. He has a true gift at building meaningful relationships with his students. So much so that back in 2017, he was asked to be the math teacher for a program for the 60 most at-risk freshmen in his school. Now, Kevin and his team worked miracles with these kids, but it came at a price. Kevin started coming home with horrible migraines almost every day from the stress at school. He would have to lay down in a dark room and decompress before he could even start interacting with our family. Now, at the time, we had a 5-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a newborn. And I was doing everything I could to hold Kevin together and hold the kids together and hold the house together. The next part of that sentence should have been holding myself together, but that wasn't even an option on the table. We were drowning. We spent a long time just putting one foot in front of the other, just trying to make it through the day. Finally, one day, ding! a little light bulb went off, and I realized I had a whole back pocket full of tools that could help Kevin feel better. So I said, babe, I'm going to make a list for you of these energy exercises, and I want you just to try them and see how you feel. And within a couple days, he started smiling again. He started laughing again. The headaches were fewer and farther between. My kids were getting their dad back. I was getting my husband back. It truly felt like a miracle. But as Kevin continued to get better, his coworkers were still struggling. So I said, no problem. I got this. I'm going to put all this into a PowerPoint and I'm going to come up and share it with your team during your plan time. As I was giving that presentation, ding, I had another little light bulb go off, and I realized that while these four teachers were in a specifically stressful situation, they were by far not the only four stressed out teachers in the world. They're by far not the only four stressed out people in the world. And so in that moment, I knew that I had to do whatever it takes to get this information out to as many people as possible. So I am so grateful to be able to be here with you today, Jeanette, and with your audience to be able to share this information and help everyone be able to feel more aligned and at peace.
Oh my God, that is incredible, Meredith. Like, okay, tell us more. Like these. So, first of all, let's talk a little bit more about energetic tools, right? Because not everyone understands
Mhm.
what that means. And there's so many different modalities that sometimes people are like, this is crazy. I can't do it. It's a bit woo for me. Like, what does that actually mean in your context?
Yeah, so I like to explain, when I speak to teachers, I tell them, I know that for some people, energy exercises or talking about energy seems more like woo woo and out there and like, oh, I don't know if I want to do that. But when you think about it, we teach about energy in science class. Like it is a scientifically proven concept that energy is like a thing, right? And there are different kinds of energy. So there's energy that, is mechanical energy or electrical energy, whatever it is. There are different types of energy. And we know that energy can be passed from one object to another, right? So if you're playing a game of pool, you have the cue stick in your hand, you use the energy from your arm to pull it back. And when you push it forward, the energy transfers from your arm through the pool cue into the ball that you hit, and then the ball moves, right? So we're transferring energy from one thing to another. The same thing happens with people. We all have energy. And when we interact with each other, it's easy for us to pass energy back and forth between ourselves. So, this is called being an empath, right? We easily pick up energy from other people or situations. So, you don't even have to be in the same room as someone, right? Like, there was a time where I was staying up late scrolling Facebook and I found this video of a high school basketball game. And it shows this woman sitting in the stands and she's kind of bored and, whatever. And all of a sudden, the dance team gets up and they start doing a flash mob. So one girl gets up and starts dancing, and then two more girls join her, and then more and more. And all of a sudden, this man gets up and starts joining the flash mob. And this woman in the audience who was, sitting there bored, all of a sudden starts jumping up and down, screaming. Clearly, she knows who this man is. And at the end of the dance, he calls her down and he gets down on one knee and proposes. And she's jumping up and down and she's screaming and she's crying and she's so happy. And all of a sudden, I realized that, like, I have all this energy coursing through my body and I'm so happy and I have tears in my eyes. And I'm like, I don't even know these people, but I was so happy for them because I was picking up on that energy that was coming even through the computer screen from a video. So, it's very easy to walk into a room and say, oh, you can cut the tension in here with a knife or, whatever. You can feel the energy going on around you. And we easily pick it up and it attaches to us without us even realizing that that's what's happening. So sometimes we start feeling all of these emotions that don't even belong to us because we're picking it up energetically. So that's a really big cause of stress for people is that, they're not cleaning their own energy and realizing like, oh, I'm stressed about somebody else's stuff right now.
Oh, wow, that is massive. And I think, I also do a lot of energy work. I do Reiki, but it's something that um, we don't always think about. And I guess in the same way is, when you walk into a room, you can sense we call it, you can sense the energy of the room. You can sense the
Mhm.
vibe, right? Is that
Yeah,
if people are really happy when you walk into a room, you suddenly randomly you're really happy as well. But then
yeah,
if you're walking to a room where everyone's really serious or really sad or really angry, somehow you start picking that up and you start feeling quite negative or even being quite negative. And I
hmm,
think that's basically what you're talking about, which is picking up people's energies because we are all very receptive of
right.
even if we're watching something or someone kind of like walking past us, someone within a close proximity, or even within a house, if someone's visited your
Hmm.
house and they're very negative or very happy, whichever way they swing, your house is going to end up feeling very much in that vibe, at least for a while before it disperses.
Yeah, absolutely. They say that you're the combination of the five people that you spend the most amount of time with. And it's because you're picking up on their energy and, you're all playing off of each other. Sorry, I just hit my computer. Um, but yeah, it's that same concept.
So, in order for us to kind of be more, actually, before we go into that, let's talk a little bit firstly about misalignment. Because
Mhm.
a big thing is about, okay, so we've kind of talked about energy and burnout, where if, and sometimes, like you said, your husband, Kevin, he was really, really giving it his all. He was giving these children his absolute best, and the children are
Mhm.
probably thriving at school. But then there's a cost of actually you and your kids at home where you have to hold everything with two
Right.
hands, but there's four of you.
Yeah.
Plus mouse. So let's talk a little bit about that first before we move on to kind of like what energy hacks there could be. So in terms of like cost and misalignment, can you expand a little bit more on that in terms of what you think it's about the cost and what is misalignment for you?
Yeah, for sure. So when we're feeling misaligned, that's when we're feeling stressed out, we're feeling frazzled, we're feeling like things are out of control. And when we are constantly in that state, it really plays a toll on not only ourselves, but our loved ones around us too, because it affects how we interact with them. So for yourself, when you're feeling stressed, when you're feeling frazzled, you're going to react differently to any given situation than you would if you were feeling grounded and centered and aligned. So let's say, for example, a car cuts you off in traffic. If you're already stressed out and you're maybe running late or you're, whatever it is, um, your response is more likely to be maybe some four-letter words, some screaming, some gestures. You know, um, there's some people that would even start chasing that car and have a road rage incident or whatever it is. And that's where you're coming from when you're already stressed out because you're projecting that energy and it has a ripple effect, right? But if you are centered and grounded and aligned and somebody cuts you off in traffic, you might say, "Oh, I didn't see them coming, but you know what? They must be in a really big hurry, and I hope that they get where they're going safely." And then you go about your day and you don't think about it anymore because it was one moment in time and you're safe and everything was good and you just move on, right?
Mm,
So all those little moments of stress add up, right? So when we are dealing with all of those emotions, because a lot of times when we're stressed out, we don't actually take the time to feel the emotions that we're going through. And so we stuff them deep down inside of us. But the thing is that feelings buried alive never die. So we can stuff those emotions down and down and down. But guess what? They're going to come back to get you. So they do that in one of two ways. One is either a big emotional explosion, which honestly I've had happen a couple times, and it is not pretty. It's good, it's healthy because you have to get those emotions out. But in the moment, it is the other way that those emotions express themselves is through illness or disease. And we don't want that, right? Nobody wants to get sick. Nobody wants to get cancer. Nobody wants to get, whatever chronic, um, oh my gosh, the word just flew out of my head.
Chronic
These chronic
illnesses.
conditions. Um, that's not fun for anybody, but really everything starts as energy first, including what happens in our body. And so if we are able to feel our emotions in the moment, because emotions are really emotions, energy in motion, if we
Mm,
let them stay in motion and flow through and feel them and let them leave, then they're not going to get stuck. But so often we are taught that it's not appropriate to feel our emotions, or, we're bad if we feel our emotions or express our anger or whatever it is. And so we just stuff it down inside, and then it manifests in a way that we don't really like later on.
yeah, absolutely. I love that, the whole emotion thing, and how, like, the energy and emotions, just because you stuff them down, they actually don't die. They have to come out somehow. And
Yeah.
actually, lately, I've been kind of investigating, playing around with this concept where actually, burnout, stress, whatever negative emotion we want to, put onto it, frustration, is actually a compilation of little things, little
Hmm.
bits of emotion, little bits of negativity that we just go, I don't have time for that now. I don't have time for that now. I don't have time for that now. I need to go and do this. I need to go and achieve. I need to go and deliver, blah, blah, blah. And then so actually, it's accumulation of a lot of little things that we have not looked at properly. We have
Hmm.
not processed, we have not allowed to cross through our bodies and out the other side. And that's what causes the overwhelm and the lack of energy, the burnout, the headaches, etc., etc. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. Um, and it's all of those little things, like you said, that add up, like the person cutting you off in traffic or whatever. And also, a major problem is that society praises our busyness and our stress. And it's like a badge of honor to say, oh, I'm so busy. I have this and this and this and this and this to do. When really, when we're constantly going, we don't have time to stop and reflect and feel what's going on within ourselves. So we just end up going through life not taking time for that self reflection, taking time to unwind, taking time to just be, because we're constantly going.
Yeah, absolutely. And actually, to get to that point, like, everyone has a different level of tolerance, right? Some
Hmm.
people it takes very little to spark them, but some people it takes quite a long time. And it's almost like those people who have it stuffed down within inside of them, very often they do turn to into disease, which I was reading is like this ease, right? If you split
Hmm.
the word into two, and I'm like, oh, words are so clever. It's the this ease of that we've been feeling, and we've not actually looked at it properly, processed it in order for us to have gotten to this point. Um, so which is actually really interesting. And like you mentioned about your husband, how he just had to, like, he was just flat out when he got home. He just didn't have any energy for anything, or anyone, right? But there's
Yeah.
and there's an absolute cost to doing all of that. There's a cost to not looking at your energy, not looking through at your emotions, not giving yourself the time to rest and relax and enjoy life in general and live life, rather than, we were talking about it, and I love the word you said, lifing. Like, lifing is not as great as living life, right? We can all be
Yeah.
lifing and busy lifing, but actually, are we enjoying the life that we are living? Are we enjoying
Right.
being the people that we are being? And I think that's kind of like such a massive topic that we can go on forever. um
Yeah. And I have to say, that's the major cost of misalignment is you're missing your life, or even if you're not missing it, you might be perceiving your life in a way that's not the best way that you could. And when you're living in that state of misalignment, it also affects how you treat your loved ones and your relationships. And that has an effect on your life as well. And so, if you really want to live a life where you're genuinely happy and you're genuinely at peace and you genuinely have positive relationships with your loved ones, you need to focus on that alignment within yourself first.
Mm, yeah, absolutely. So, how do we do that, Meredith? Please tell us. What are some of
Yeah,
those
so
energetic hacks that you've got?
yes. So there are several energy exercises that I have. I have a whole list of like 20 different things in my book, The Alignment Guide to Sanity When You Just Want to Quit, which, while it, yes, is themed towards teachers, is really for everybody. So all of the tips in there are not just teacher specific. They're anybody can use them. So I have a couple that I will share with you today. The first one is called the Triple Warmer Smoothie. All right. Now, this is a funny name. I know everyone's like, the what? The Triple Warmer Smoothie? That doesn't make sense. What it is we have lines of energy that run throughout our body called meridians. And there is a meridian called the triple warmer meridian that is responsible for our fight, flight, or freeze response. And what we're going to do is we're going to trace that meridian backwards. And when we do that, we're calming it down. We're smoothing out that fight, flight, or freeze response. And as we do this, it's actually helping reduce the stress hormones within our body. And what I really love about this is that it's not only helping like in a stressful moment, it will help you calm down. But if you do it even when you're not feeling stressed out, it helps just kind of remove some of the layers of buildup that you've accumulated over time. So it's really simple. Um, the first thing you're going to do is gently place your fingertips over your eyes. And you're going to take a nice deep breath in. And now we're going to gently pull our fingertips out to our temples and take a deep breath here. And now we're going to trace our fingertips up around our ears, down the sides of our necks. And we're going to gently press our fingertips into our shoulders and take a nice deep breath here. And then the last thing we're going to do is slide our hands over our heart and take one more deep breath here. And that's the whole thing.
Ooh,
So that's a
pretty
really great
good.
exercise to do when, again, when you're feeling upset, when you're stressed out, or just, first thing when you wake up in the morning or before you go to bed at night, just to help remove some of those layers of stress hormones.
Wow, I love that. And it's so easy and it doesn't cost anything. It's really easy. We can do it ourselves. I just need to
Mhm.
remember to those points and then breathe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
And I
whoever's
think
watching
honestly,
this, make sure you
breathing
watch the
is,
replay.
yes. And we can do it one more time quickly if you want. But I think one of the most important parts of this is the breathing, because so often when we're stressed out, we don't focus on our breathing, but taking those nice deep breaths, getting oxygen into our brain and into our bloodstream really can help us calm down. Our respiratory system is the one bodily system that we have conscious control over. And so if we can control our breath, we can control a big portion of our body and really help reduce that stress load.
Wow, that is
So,
amazing. And actually, that's also one of the reasons why breath work works so well is because we know when
mhm.
we're shallow breathing, we're literally like, and so we're always fueling that feeling
Right.
of panic. So when we
Yes.
are giving ourselves the opportunity to breathe deep, it signals to the body, hey, it's all okay. We're all good. Nothing's
Yeah.
wrong. We can calm down now. You don't need to fight or flight.
Yes. For sure. Yeah. Reminding our body like we are safe in this moment is huge, because that fight, flight, or freeze response was designed in ancient times when we literally had a saber-toothed tiger chasing us. And we had to decide, am I going to fight this thing? Am I going to run away? Or am I going to freeze here and hope that it doesn't realize that I'm here? But now people get that response for things like typing an email
Hmm.
or watching something on TV that's happening on the other side of the world. And not to say that, we shouldn't have compassion for people going through things on the other side of the world, but as we're sitting in our living rooms watching it on TV, we're not the ones in danger. We don't have to feel that fight, flight, or freeze response when we're sitting in our homes, you
Hmm.
know.
Yeah, and that's
But
that's really important.
yeah, we're constantly inundated by all of this media that is showing us, oh, this horrible thing is happening and that horrible thing is happening and that horrible thing is happening. And it doesn't give our bodies time to relax and de-stress. So if we can remind ourselves, like, even if these things are going on, I can still be at peace. That is where the magic happens, because realistically, you can't do anything about what's going on the other side of the world, you know?
Yeah, yeah, that is so true, so true. Thank you for sharing that. Um,
Yeah.
is there one more quick one that you could share with us? I love this.
Yeah. I was wondering, do we have a couple minutes to do our bubble of peace meditation?
Yeah, why not? I'm ready for
It just
it.
takes a couple minutes. So what I would like for you to do, because this plays into what we were just talking about, is I want you to get comfortable. If you would like to close your eyes, you can do so. Otherwise, you can just find a spot to gently rest your gaze upon in front of you. And I want you to take a nice deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And I want you to imagine a bubble around yourself. Think about what color your bubble is. Maybe it's blue, maybe it's yellow, maybe it's pink with sparkles. Maybe it looks like a disco ball and it's covered in little mirrors that reflect things back out away from you. Or maybe it has some spikes on it that pop anything negative that tries to come towards you. You can look however you want. Now I want you to take a paintbrush and paint an extra layer of thickness on the inside of your bubble, making your bubble impenetrable So nothing can pop your bubble. Now I want you to expand your bubble so large that it fills the entire room that you're sitting in. And now I want you to shrink it down so small that it is like a second skin on your body. And now I want you to inflate it to a size that's comfortable for you. This is your bubble of peace. Only things that allow you to feel peaceful are allowed inside your bubble of peace. This could be your bed. This could be your favorite coffee mug. This could be your spouse or your best friend or your dog, but only if they are allowing you to feel peaceful. If they are getting on your nerves, they get kicked out of the bubble. When you are in your bubble of peace, you feel calm, you feel grounded, you feel peaceful. You are able to observe things going on around you without becoming emotionally entangled in them. So you are becoming an objective observer of the world around you. You can look at an upset person or a negative situation with a clear mind so that you can help de-escalate the situation rather than escalating it with your emotions. Anytime that you need your bubble of peace, it is there for you. All you have to do is say or think the words bubble of peace, and it will automatically appear around you. You can do it first thing when you wake up in the morning, before you go to work, before you go to a crowded space like the grocery store or a concert. Your bubble of peace is always there. When you're ready, you can wiggle your fingers and toes, gently come back to the room.
Wow, I love that. I feel so grounded, so peaceful, so centered. Boy,
Oh,
you can probably
good.
feel my energy shift through the screens.
Oh, good.
And
I'm so glad.
it's such a powerful thing. And I love how you actually reminded us, that, as soon as we think of it, it's there. It's
Yeah,
already there. And it's accessible at any given point.
absolutely.
So thank you
Yeah. So,
so
I
much
mean,
for giving us that.
yeah, I just love that tool because it really helps remind us that, things are going to happen outside of us that we have no control over. But the one thing that we do have control over is how we perceive it and how we respond. And so if we can stay in that bubble of peace and respond from that centered and grounded place, it's going to have a much better impact on the things going on around us than if we get sucked in and say, oh my gosh, I'm upset about that too. Rah, rah, rah. So,
Mm.
yeah, if everybody can put up their bubble of peace, we're going to be in a much happier world.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Meredith. It's been amazing having you share with us the tools and actually talk us through about why things happen, why are we misaligned and what we can actually do about it. I think this episode has been like super practical as well, and that we can have this meditation that we can keep coming back to in our bubble of peace, and just even the meridians that we can actually breathe through again. So thank you so, so much for sharing with us and give us your time um, out of your amazing schedule. I was going to say busy, then
Absolutely.
I was like,
Thank you.
no, change that. Amazing schedule.
Love it. Love it. Love it. Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure to be here with you and your guests.
Well, thank you everyone for watching, whether you're live or whether you're watching the replay. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Please do get in touch with us. We would love to hear from you. What are your thoughts on this? What's something that Meredith shared that really resonated with you? Maybe you've had similar experiences, and which of the tools is it that you prefer out of the two? And obviously, don't
Yeah.
forget to get Meredith's book. I'm going to put it all in the comments later on so that you have access to everything. You can get onto the links, follow her on social media, and make sure you get in touch. Well, on that note, thank you so much once again, Meredith, and for everyone watching.
Thank you.
We will see you again in 2 weeks' time for another episode. Bye for now.
Bye.